Welcome to the Empowerment Zone with Ramona Houston, where we zone in on Black and Brown relations and our journey to empowering our communities.
We are all so busy, so very, very busy, that technology makes our life much, much easier. Technology enables us to stay connected to family and friends. We're able to order goods and services online through technology. And we're even able to develop relationships with people across the world just sitting in our homes. Technology can also help us to grow and develop our businesses. Welcome to the Empowerment Zone. I am your host, Ramona Houston, and today we're going to explore the topic, do business better using information technology. So we have a husband and wife team who are owners of IT-Henhouse. We have Kenneth Fields today, who is president. He combines an entrepreneur's passion with a soldier's rigor to bring you IT-Henhouse. Kenneth has worked in the information technology field for a quarter of a century as an expert and strategist skilled at meeting complex functional and technical business needs. He has worked with clients both inside and outside of the United States. Kenneth will be the first to tell you he has seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. He is a diehard Clint Eastwood fan, and he is committed to making sure that IT-Henhouse customers see mostly good. In and out of uniform, Kenneth understands that measurable results are achieved through strategy, communication, innovation, camaraderie, and commitment. He calls it the IT-Henhouse experience. AC Fields is Vice President of Business Development and Strategic Planning. She understands that the company's success depends on a healthy business ecosystem, the relationship between team members, customers, vendors, and business partners. AC believes in a win-win strategy. She calls it the IT-Henhouse experience. AC works to develop and facilitate sales marketing strategies that create new business deals and enhance existing customer retention. She works closely with the admin, human resources, finance, and ERP implementation teams while uncovering opportunities to expand IT services, capabilities, and geographic footprint. AC is laser focused on positioning IT-Henhouse to be the transcending leader in technology and humanistic thought. Welcome, you two.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
I am really pleased to have you on the show to tell us all about information technology. I'm an entrepreneur and I'm still doing things hand by hand, piece of paper here, there. And so technology is just a great way to grow and enhance your business. And I can't wait to explore this topic with you. So if you could you tell our audience a little bit about who you are and what you do, and tell us all about IT-Henhouse, and just give us a little big background. You don't even just have to be on the professional side. Give us a little personal information too.
Well, I'm AC and this is Kenneth, and we are a husband and wife owned company. We have been married for about 25. No, we just celebrated our 23rd.
Congratulations.
He keeps track of that. We just celebrated our 23rd anniversary this past Valentine's Day. So,
congratulations.
Yes, thank you. So that we're excited about that. And we started IT-Henhouse probably about 6 years ago. Kenneth has been working in the IT space for about a quarter of a century. But about 6 years ago, we decided that there was a company that was missing the people aspect in terms of information technology. So he one day decided that to take the plunge and to start a business where he would address technology and the people that are connected to technology. And he asked me to join him in that pursuit. And I was a little bit intimidated by that because my background actually is interestingly enough, more about helping people. So my background is in education, my background is in health and wellness. So a lot of the work that I had done in the past had really nothing to do with technology, but more to do with people. And he saw that as a bonus, as definitely a feather in the cap, and something that he felt like was desperately needed in the industry was someone that understood people. And I spent most of my life inspiring people to do things that they probably don't want to do, like get in shape, get healthy, stay out of jail. I guess most people do want to stay out of jail, but just the behaviors and techniques that are necessary to keep from going to jail. So I've worked with kids of all ages. I've worked with adults. I've worked with people in jail trying to not go to jail. I've worked with first generational families preparing to go to college. People who have suffered heart attacks and they're trying to now get their health back on track. So I had a lot of experience in helping people solve different kinds of problems, whether it was around health or whether it was around education. And that, of course, required an ability to connect with people and be inspiring at the same time. And so Kenneth had watched me do some of that work and thought it would be fantastic if I could bring some of those skills to the IT space. So I decided to go ahead and try it out. So that's what I do here at IT-Henhouse. My role as the vice president is I focus on business development as well as strategic planning. And in the business development role, I bridge the gap between employees, vendors, customers, making sure that everyone is getting their needs met and that we all win, because I understand in order for our business to be successful, everybody's got to win, not just us, but our employees, our customers, and our vendors who help us with these solutions that we offer to our customers. So everybody has to win. And that's the psychology that I bring to IT-Henhouse. And I hope to be able to bring that to the technology and just the space of humanity altogether. Like, if everybody wins, then we all win. We don't win if only I win. And you sit there wondering, how come you're not winning? Like, that's not good for anybody. So my goal is to develop IT-Henhouse to be a leader in technology and also humanistic thought. So
That's great. The people person of the company.
I am the people person of the company, and I'm also the person that keeps everybody going where they're supposed to be. So the strategic planner, because my husband is like a squirrel sometimes. So
yeah, relationships matter. So it's always important to have a people person who's really centered on individuals and helping each person to win. So I know you're a great asset to the team. Kenneth, how about you?
Well, I'm a husband, a father, a 8-year retired military logistics officer, and I'm passionate about technology. For me, I look at technology as a bridge over, oh gosh, troubled water. Troubled water could be not being able to find out that, why are you doing the business? What's the performance of the business? How can I take this business and enhance its operations, increase the revenue? And what I normally do, I started this week, I go into the office about 4:30 in the morning because I love whiteboards. Because when I get these ideas for improvement. So I go to the whiteboard, and now AC, she's not that crazy for the whiteboard. But for me, I draw it on my ancestors. My ancestors, I think they were brilliant, smart people. And they instilled in me this ability to relate to people. And that's why we people power tech. It's kind of a huge salesman here. But the reason that we're people power technology is that my objective is to ensure that technology is representing the company that's utilizing it. So many companies, they invest in technology because they may have what I call a snake oil salesman. Now, by the way, I'm a big Clint Eastwood fan. And I'm remembering how Planes Drifter, one of his movies, when the gentleman was trying to buy his services for protecting him. And he kept saying, how much? How much is it? And for us, it's not about how much the technology, it's what the technology can deliver. Because if they can't deliver, I don't care if it costs $5 a month versus $500,000 a month. course, we don't have technology 500,000, but the point is we want to make sure that we bring technology to the table, but people are well informed and intelligent because systems are always built to have all this information, but often people don't know how to take that information and pull it into their realm of responsibility. The reason I say realm of responsibility is that if you look at a technology system, it means different things to different people. It's not one size fits all. It's not one system for all. And my background, because I've worked in this 25 years, I felt like falling asleep when she said that, because being in this field for 25 years, I've been on a client that I was disappointed because I felt like the client, I'm not going to protect the guilty, whatever, I won't call their names out. And I was frustrated. I said, we're not really delivering this client what they need. And the manager put me to the side and said, let me break it down for you. There's the A plan, the B plan, and the C plan. Because of their billing rate, they are getting the C plan. And I was like, okay, I want you to go tell the owner of that business that he's getting the C level of work from us. And I want you to justify it by the fact that he's paying C level of rate. See, for me, that is unacceptable. And that's when I had been driven. I mean, this has been in the works for a long time as far as being an entrepreneur. But I watched my grandfather, and I always use my grandfather as a reference because I always say he would have been an outstanding engineer. But I tell people, give him a piece of wood, he'll make a wheelbarrow for you. And so that's why I draw on my ancestors, because I represent them who did not have the opportunity, who were just as smart, just as great, just as brilliant, but did not have that opportunity. And so it would be a dereliction of duty, as we'll say in the military, if I do not fulfill the destiny that they have for me and IT-Henhouse, as well as AC, my counterpart. So I know that was a mouthful.
I love it. I love it. And to talk about put the ancestors in your work and talk about how you woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go to the whiteboard. You know, people always say spirit talks to us in the middle of the night, right around that time, around 4 or 5 in the morning.
That's right.
Now, I'm a big Michael Jackson fan. That was my first husband. Okay. And so he used to say, he would get up, the creative ideas would come to him in the middle of the night. And he would talk about how Prince would execute some of the ideas that he had come up with. And one of the things he talked about is, hey, we can't get any sleep, because our minds and spirits are open to the creative process and to our spirits talking to us in the middle of the night. And so I am so happy you shared that with us. And with me being a historian of African American history, we know that our work is tied into the ancestors. I mean, we would not be here had some of our grandmothers and grandfathers not believed in and saw the vision of who and what we could be. And so I really appreciate you sharing that story about your own experience and your grandfather, and also talking about the ethics of business, that you want to be the type of business owner that actually provides solutions. And it's not just about money, it's about how you are serving the client. And we really need business owners who believe in providing good service. Yes, everything has a cost, but you still want to deliver and be able to sleep at night, knowing that you did your best and you provided the service, you did good for that client. And so speaking of technology, going back to I just wanted to digress on those topics, but that are very much a part of the core of who you are and what you do. But talking about technology and how we use technology, like you said, to travel over troubled waters and to enhance and increase our businesses. So tell us about IT-Henhouse and what you do. Like, could you be more explicit on how how you take technology and use it help serve your clients.
So at IT-Henhouse, we primarily use technology to help people solve their business problems. We focus on what we call the 5 pillars that we think are essential for people to do business better. And these are the things that we've kind of identified and pinpointed over, like I said, a quarter of a century of experience of working in a technology space. And this is where we saw most companies getting hung up in one of these 5 areas. The area of automation, the area of visibility, collaboration, data security, and innovation. And so when we talk to people about how we can help them, those are generally the 5 areas where companies struggle, especially where, we've walked into this new millennium. We're in 2021. Some of the ways that we've done business before are just not feasible anymore. It just doesn't even make any sense, right? Sheer fact that we're communicating over this Zoom call is evidence of that. It has opened the door for how we imagine doing business in a collaborative way, right? So that can be done through software technology. We focus on selling a software solution that's referred to as ERP, which is an acronym for Enterprise Resource Planning. And typically what that means is it is a software system that allows you to manage your entire company from one software solution. So one software system, basically. So you don't have to go, nothing against QuickBooks, you don't have to be on QuickBooks for your finances, and then on another software for your customer relationship, and then on the e-commerce platform, and trying to figure out what in the world is going on with your business, because no system is talking to each other. And so you don't have a good visibility on that. You don't know you're not tracking your customers, right? Because you're doing it maybe you have an Excel spreadsheet, or something that's not automated, something that's not efficient, something doesn't capture the data in real time. And so this ERP concept came about to allow businesses to be able to capture all their businesses, all their different operations in one spot, right? So they can make better business decisions. So we find, especially in our communities, there are opportunities that are missed in terms of when it comes to visibility. For example, not having visibility over your finances, especially as a result of this. It became a real pain point during this whole COVID pandemic when they were giving out this PPP money, right? And but if you didn't have your financials in order when they asked you for them, you were just automatically shut out of that government money, which you should have. That could have made a difference for a lot of businesses, right? So they don't have the visibility over their finances because of how they maintain that. A lot of people, in terms of things like inventory, like we've worked with people in terms of how you track your inventory. You just can't be, I think I'm going to need this week, and I think I'm going to need that next week, instead of being able to systematically say, well, I know from February to April, I'm going to need more maple syrup, because that is when maple syrup is that when I make cobbler. I don't know how to make cobblers. So I don't even know if you use maple syrup. That's when I make my cobblers, and I may need more of that. So I already know that, and I'm tracking that, and I can make the adjustments, and I see, okay, well, it's on sale now in November. It doesn't expire. So let me go pick it up a little bit in November. So now I'm prepared for February and March, right? So that's savings now. My software is helping me save money because I'm not at the last minute remembering that I need to have it now. So just things like that we find in our community, that people don't approach business in that way. Like, we're about doing the business, but not necessarily working on the business. And that holds us back in many ways. Another thing in terms of software systems that we talk about is the relationship of your customers. Now, if you know that your customers, they have a birthday coming up. All the people who have birthdays in September. Okay, well, we know that now because we've tracked their information. We have the data that tells us when their birthdays come, what's their favorite flower, pants, shirt, lipstick, whatever it is. We can track that and we can improve the customer service that we give to them based on the fact that we have that information. And so that's the beauty of using an ERP software solution is it allows you to be able to track your customers and track the things that are going on in your business to help you do your business better. You're not guessing, you're not responsive, you're not reactive, you're actually proactive because you know what your customers need and you can build your marketing strategies around that. You can build, whatever you need to build around that. Your innovation opportunities, you can build it around that because now you've got a clear sense of where you're going in your business, if that makes sense.
Yes, it makes total sense. This ERP system, can you repeat again what the acronym means?
Enterprise Resource Planning.
Yes.
And we find that a lot of us don't know about how to run businesses like that. A lot of us don't realize the importance of having a good banking system. A lot of us do business. I've recently learned this word, cash to pocket, right? And so we don't have any real records to show that we're in business. And when this money came, we missed a lot of opportunities, and it was really sad to watch that. We've been in business but we don't do a lot of paperwork, a lot of what they call the back office stuff. We're kind of like doing the best that we can. I get it, but it's time for us to come out of that though.
And that's a great solution to provide when you talk about the lack of resources for Black-owned businesses. This is a resource that we should definitely invest in. When you talk about ERP and having one tool that provides all of your technology solutions across the board. And thank you so much for expanding upon all those different ways, like, where you talked about accounting, where you talked about inventory, and even the relationships with your customers. I know with my financial planner, I used to get a birthday card from every year from her, and little things like that really make a difference, in terms of developing relationships with your clients. Yes. And we know that customers are the best way for you to promote your business because they'll go out there and sing your praises. So moving on in looking at the solutions of IT-Henhouse, Kenneth, when you talk about the fact that you provide very unique solutions to each business, there's not a one shoe fits all for every business, and how you as a company come in and help businesses figure out what their IT solution is. Could you please expand upon that?
Yes, but I also want to share before I get into answering the question is that when I was listening to AC talking about the solution, it reminded me of when I was a kid on the playground, and there was a little song called "Chitty Chitty Bang Bang," sitting on the fence, trying to make $1 out of 50 cents. She missed. That's what we don't want people to miss as far as the opportunity. And also is this, what has happened is that, and I've been to a lot of webinars, different events or sponsoring, and I hate the word, I don't like minority, but our businesses. And what I see is that our standards are too low. And that means that the standard is defined by someone else and what is good enough. And you ask a business, they say, hey, we were in the black. We paid our taxes last year. Everybody got paid on time. So I think we're good. But you're not good. You can always strive to be better. I'd rather try to be better and fail than to fail in trying to be better without making any effort. And when we look at technology, what we try to do is sit down with the client.
Okay, wait. Before you go there, I love what you were saying. That I want to hang on that point for a minute about raising your standards. Like
Yes.
we need to, as
Mhm.
African Americans and Latinos, we always
Yes.
need to strive for excellence.
Yes.
Excellence does not mean strive for perfection, but to strive for excellence, to be our best, to live up to our fullest potentials, and don't even think about these low standards and provide just doing enough to get by.
Right.
You
Yes.
know,
Yes.
I've heard some. Uh, as I'm a product of a historically Black college and university, Clark Atlanta University, along
Mhm.
with Morehouse College and Spelman College. They in Morris Brown College and Interdenominational Theological Center. All of them are extremely influential in my educational development because I took classes on all the campuses. And one thing that I learned from having Black teachers for the first time, I went through school for 12 years I'm from a small town in Texas, and I had one Black teacher. And what I learned from the professors at these historically Black colleges and universities is they had high levels of expectation
Right.
for us as
Mhm.
students.
That's
They
right.
expected us to learn. They expected us to do our best. They expected us to come to class. And if we weren't in class, they'd come looking for us, you know?
Mhm.
And so I say that to say that people
Mhm.
perform to the level of expectation.
That's right.
So if
Yes.
you have low standards,
Mhm.
then you'll perform with
Right.
those low
Yes.
standards. But if you
Yes.
have high standards, you'll
Mhm.
perform at a high level. And
That's right.
so I really appreciate you sharing that piece of advice for us, Kenneth. Excuse me, I
Mhm.
just wanted to support you on that. And so
Yes.
please go ahead and talk about how you provide solutions specifically for each individual business. Thank you.
Yes. When we sit down with the individual, we have partnerships with major software companies. But I found, especially when I was working with some of the firms, is that they try to push people to a certain technology manufacturer. That's not our policy. We look at is that we sit down with the client, it's got to be the right fit for all parties. That is, I've worked with clients that will cuss people out on the phone. I'm like, this is so unprofessional. Even though I grew around us who deliver cussing towards me, I started getting flashbacks when all the cussing was going on. And but we feel that first thing we do is look at the fit. We look to see whether or not this client is a fit as far as the IT-Henhouse. And that fit has to be that we are able to deliver the solutions, that are needed for that client. That is, we listen to the client. We don't just assume that we have all the answers. And I have to say, it's an indoctrination that's been 25 years in the making. Because usually when a consultant comes in, he or she have their nice dresses on, their pantsuit, they have a suit with a tie, hair groomed, looking to the dress to the T. That does not mean they're the smartest ones in the room. And what usually happens is that's our top of the standard. We are exterior society. I don't take for granted because I look at how someone looked and say, that person really probably can't add much value to this meeting. And I've been in meetings where people are so quick to talk. And all of a sudden, I end up being, I talk about myself at times. I end up being E.F. Hutton. I'm the one that when I was in college, I asked the question other people were afraid to ask. When I went into corporate America, I asked the question. But the reason I asked those questions, because it started from an aunt who required that I get book reports, as I told my kids the other day, but also required me to be inquisitive. There's no such thing as a stupid question. What's stupid is to not ask the question, because then the knowledge transfer is not there. But also, we expect our clients to validate us being in their realm. We appreciate the time they take with us. And so we sit down, we do an analysis with them, determine what are their needs, what are their pain points, and then say, okay, let's talk about what happened in your past. Because the reason we talk about the past, I look at IT like relationships. I remember listening to T.D. Jakes one time. He was talking about junk in the trunk, and it's on the internet. He was talking about how people have so much junk with them that we don't see. Just like that nice car he had in the video, the car looks good. But when you pull the back of the car, you see all kind of stuff. Well, that's the same thing with organizations. They have all kind of stuff, but it's not just the company. It's the people as well who have stuff. You may have someone that's a single mom trying to hold it down. You may have someone that's had marital problems, and you expect them to come to work and have that face like trying to put makeup on and forget about all their problems and be committed to that company. Or you could have someone who is not really in favor of the technology because they were never empowered from the get-go. And they're like, here's the manager again with another pet peeve project. I once worked on a project where we had 3 different managers that wanted 3 different systems. I'm like, well, wait a minute. There's a hospital system which had deep pockets. But just because you have a deep pocket, don't try to empty the pocket on frivolous spending. That doesn't make sense. We also look at best practices for the industries that they function in. We take a client and we incorporate those best practices in this Q&A session. But beyond doing the best practices, we introduce the systems. And I draw our military experience. We always did courses of actions. And course of action had to be no more than 3. Thank goodness. Because the colonels and generals used to have us doing all this course of action analysis when he or she already knew the answer that they were going to go with. And they put us through. They do the assumptions, the facts, looking at developing criteria to rate each course of action. And then look at how viable the course of action is. Of course, looking at money that he spent and time. So it's factors in terms of introducing the course of action. Well, that's what we do with information technology. We try to deliver solutions that, I always say this, encompass the present, the past, and the future. Because what we don't want to do is give someone a solution. And it's like IT-Henhouse. They came, they saw, and they conquered us. And we will not let them through the doors again. So for us, we also do something called a health and wellness check. That's mandatory for our clients. That is, after the project is implemented, we request access to this system. We make sure they're using the system. Utilization has to be up. But also, are they using the system correctly? And then ask them, okay, since you have this system in place, has your revenue gone up? Because remember, when we sat down, when we justify, gave you a value-added matrix, a value assessment for the system, you're supposed to have your revenue increased by 50,000 or your costs decreased by 15,000 a month. If that's not happening, we need to determine why that is the case. And that's what we do. We don't lead people straight. We also specialize in what we call computer in-house, which is computers, printers, desktop printers, copiers across the board, and hardware. Because what we found is that when people look at investing in technology and not just the software, they may look around, it's kind of like Christmas. Santa Claus, some people may not believe in Santa Claus. At one time I did. This is what I would like to get. And so they started to upgrade across the board. And that's what we try to deliver as a total solution as a company. But we do not steer people to one solution prior to talking to them. And we also make sure that, again, that the solutions we have make sense for that company.
So our five guiding principles at IT-Henhouse are that we navigate our clients through the process. Just because we've seen over the years where people, it's just been like a ad hoc type of situation. The second one is that we begin with the end in mind. So that's almost where Computer Henhouse was born. We'd get to the end of a project and someone said, oh, it would be nice if we had a printer. Like, somebody should have said that 3 months ago. Yeah. So we begin with the end in mind. We ask them to think about what is it that you want to see your company look like, in the next 5 years. And we build back from that. And then the other guiding principle for us is the empowerment piece, making sure that companies are they feel really comfortable in asking us those questions, whether they be stupid or not, but they still feel comfortable in asking. We never want to over talk or over speak technology to anybody because that's intimidating to people, and then they don't want to ask us questions, and then that that can mess up with the direction that we take the client into. So we want to make sure they feel empowered to say, no, I don't want that, or yes, I want that. And the fourth is protecting them. We're a military family, and we've said that over and over. So we're naturally wired to protect people. And so we've seen situations where clients were led astray, and we're just kind of like biting our nails, like, oh, okay, because you can't do anything about that, right? And then the fifth personal goal, which is my personal favorite, is and Kenneth likes to say it kind of came from him a little bit. See the possibilities. Kenneth always says we have the technology. Like, we're here now in 2021. Like, there's nothing really that you can't accomplish or that you can't do, because we have the technology. You just need to be brave enough to imagine what you want it to be.
Yes.
Thank
And
you.
so,
Thank you for sharing those guiding principles, because all businesses need to have guiding principles in order to make sure that we operate ethical businesses, right? As Kenneth talked about earlier. And then also that fifth one, I love it too. See the impossibilities. I love that.
not impossibilities, the possibilities.
You know, it's funny. Thank you for correcting me on that, because I had just said that in a talk I had yesterday. I was saying, see the possibilities of impossibilities. So thank you for that correction. Yes. So that was in my mind. So, but just to see the possibilities of what could be, and that's what innovation is all about.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
And so I'm very happy that you all shared your story with us and shared shared with our audience about IT-Henhouse. And with that being said, could you tell our audience how they would get in contact with you if they're interested in using your services?
Yes. Well, I call this shakedown. I told people, I also want to mention this, that money is always taboo. Oh gosh, I'm from rural Virginia, so it shows up eventually. And we
www.
Go ahead.
IT-Henhouse.com.
Yeah, www.IT-Henhouse.com.
Or you can call us at 980-393-3400. 3400. Yeah,
980.
I was just going to save you from a long story. I'm sorry. That's my other job I do. I had to shut it down.
Well, you know, you didn't have to shut them down. You know, I know we do our best as wives right now. I have a husband who doesn't talk, so I never have to shut him down. I can barely get him to say 2 words.
That must be it. I'm like, yes. And you have one that talks, and you are, yes.
So, but you didn't have to shut them down. But I love your personal stories. You know, that's how you connect with people, right? It's the personal stories. And so, so we'll get the shakedown, I guess, on the next interview.
You and me here for, I promise you, another 15 to 20 minutes. So I got the clock up here, so I'm watching. Yes, that's what I do. I have to keep them in time.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, you all are always welcome to come back on the Empowerment Zone. You can find them at www.IT-henhouse.com. And if you would like to engage their services. Thank you so much, Kenneth and AC, for joining us on the Empowerment Zone.
Thank you.
Hi, we have Kenneth and AC Fields with us here today, and they're going to give us a strategy for college success. I'm going to let each one of them give us a strategy. We're all about helping people to succeed and excel in college, and I can't wait to hear their advice. And you want to tell us for what schools did you attend? What were your majors? And then what is that piece of advice you would have for a college student?
So I did I'm originally from New England, so Boston, Massachusetts. So I did my undergraduate work at Boston College. I majored in human development and psychology, and minor in education. And then I did my graduate work at American University, and I have a master's in health and wellness promotion. And my belief with college is that, maybe not widely believed, but my belief with college is that it's about a collection of experiences. I feel like when people attend college with the expectation of a return on their investment in terms of in terms of money, I think it is a dangerous thing to do. And so I tell my daughter who is going to be going to Tuskegee, I tell her that you're there because you need a collection of experiences. And
You know. I had to say that. Okay, go ahead.
it's so I say that because although I've been well educated at the universities that I attended, I couldn't really put a dollar value to that, right? I couldn't put a dollar value to it. But what I've learned and how it shaped me is invaluable. Is invaluable. So I think if you go there looking to say, okay, I'm going to get this information is going to give me a job, and it's going to give you that amount of money, I think there's a danger in that, because schools cost so much now, and a lot of times you're not going to see that ROI for a very long time, if you ever see it. But if you go there and you say, I'm going to expand my mind, I'm going to expand how I see different people's perspectives, I'm going to find out a little bit about what I'm good at and what I care about and what I can actually put my energy behind, and I can go here and I can practice and uncover that, I can develop that. I think you come out of that a better person than if you go there looking for, I'm going to get a great job as a result of this. And, I've had great jobs, but,
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for that piece of advice. And you, Kenneth?
Well, I try to make it as short as possible. It's hard sometimes. But for me, my inspiration to go to college started from my mother. She had me at a young age of 15. And she ended up still becoming valedictorian of her high school class. But she was actually accepted in Norfolk State University, but because of the circumstances, she did not get her degree. And so I was driven as a child that first degree that I would receive would be the one that I really honored my mom. And I started out in data processing actually at a Black high school called Northam High School in Portsmouth, Virginia. They had a program where it's more like a trade/high school in case someone doesn't want to go to college. And I majored there in data processing. And so that's where I got an interest in computers and decided to pursue a career. I graduated from IC Norcom. I went to Old Dominion University. Now, I have to say, I was at the crossroads there because I was accepted to Hampton University. And because of the circumstances of my mom, and being a single mother, I ended up getting more funds from Old Dominion. But I always felt, I feel a high regard for HBCUs. I think they are the best. I wish I'd gone to one, even though I'm grateful from Old Dominion for the opportunity, but I would encourage anyone to go to an HBCU most of all. Also, I don't want a student to go to college, and there was a song back in the day, Love Don't Live Here Anymore. And what I mean is that I don't want them to go to college without doing their homework, no pun intended. That is, you got to find out who you are. And so if you want to be an architect, talk to an architect. It's like someone going to the doctor and getting a second and a third and a fourth opinion. Because sometimes the degrees in college, it is romanticized. If I go to a certain college and I get this degree, now I have to admit, I'm not one of those people that like to see when driving down the road when someone says, my daughter goes to Harvard or my daughter goes to a certain school. I'm like, so what? Because it's not about you. I know you're proud of your daughter, but it's about what is she trying to get herself to be as a result of going to college. So I agree with AC. College is multifaceted. It's about relationships. It's about academics. It's about independence. And so what I was trying to say is that it's important for them to know that there are people that have been on that path. Talk to them. I see so many students that will go to college, declare a major, I'm going to be a nurse, until they had to do the first blood transfusion. And then all of a sudden they have a come to Jesus moment and they decide, I don't want to be a nurse anymore. Well, that means that they didn't do their homework. They should be talking to medical professionals, RNs, LPNs, and determine that's something they want to do. Now, I also recommend the students that take the electives the first 2 years. Now, I know some colleges actually they discourage someone taking any coursework within a degree for the first 2 years. But also get an internship. It could be an internship for free where they find out, hey, I want to be a dentist. Can I just hang out in the office? I'll be out of the way. I just want to observe. But I don't want to observe just in the back here. I want to see the administrative area when someone checks into the dentist or when they're processing out. Because it's not just about being a dentist and pulling teeth. It's a whole deal about it. But also, I think there needs to be a change in terms of, and I always said this about college. I remember taking one entrepreneurship course when I went to graduate school at the University of Pitt. Of course, it's hell to Pitt. That's the phrase. I didn't know that until I got up there. I called the University of Pittsburgh. They said, no, we're Pitt, P-I-T-T. But that entrepreneurship course was an easy A, but it should have been much more than that. I feel like colleges need to really be on their entrepreneurial train. That is, because I don't see a college out there that trains in entrepreneurship. I think will be a great idea because we don't want these students coming out and their college experience is validated by getting a job. And when they don't get the job or get the money that they're expecting for a salary, they're ready to go slap that guidance counselor upside her face because they have been sold and indoctrinated on a concept that by going to college, this is going to be the end game. But that end game can't just be about the salary. It can't just be working for a prestigious firm. How about creating wealth for yourself, creating your own opportunity, learning that, wait a minute, I have this skill set. What's to stop me from opening up a store in retail? I specialize in retail management. Maybe I'm in hospitality management. I can start small. And the next thing they know, they have a hotel because they started from somewhere. They had that mentality because colleges, it's an indoctrination. It reminds me of the military because in the military, we would take soldiers through basic training and basic training, the soldiers feel like they can't do it. But then all of a sudden we push them pretty hard and they're able to achieve something that they didn't think was possible. Like you said earlier about seeing the impossibilities. That's the problem in our society. It's easy to see something not possible, but seeing something possible and being able to have someone allow you to execute the plan to make that possible. I have a phrase, I call it, I have so many phrases here. I say potential, the word potential, and I don't know its trademark. Potential is unrealized reality. That is, a lot of people have potential, but to get them from being, say, I have potential to say, now I'm living this because I did what I had to do in order to make this potential reality. That's what we need in this society, not people that kind of fall in place because, hey, my girl, she went to major in nursing, so I'm gonna roll with her. Or my boyfriend, he majored in engineering, so I'm gonna be engineering. Okay, it reminded me of that movie with Reese Witherspoon, Legally Blonde. How she went off to Harvard because she was trying to chase out the boyfriend who broke up with her. Well, that's a movie. But unfortunately, that's reality as well. It is. And so we have to change the narrative, as our people, that we can create this opportunity. And I have to say, too, a lot of us, we do not know who we are because we don't know where we come from. And what I mean is this. We can't rely on the media to tell us who we are. We have to seek it in order to believe it.
Seek it. Well, I surely appreciate all that great advice, and I appreciate that AC didn't cut him off. She just let him go.
Listen, I'm watching the time. A couple more sentences, and he was going to be cut off.
At the stage, right?
I loved all of that advice. So we have really explore and collect your experiences in college. And when you talk about collecting experiences, that means expand your mind, get new experiences, practice your skill, practice in various organizations and what you do. I thought that was great advice. We have go to a historically Black college and university if that's an option for you. Take a lot of time to find out who you are, meet people who are doing what you do, take internships, take electives, make sure that you explore before you decide exactly what you want to do, because what you have in your mind might not be what you want. Take entrepreneurship courses and always look at the end game. And the end game is to reach your fullest potential. It's not about money and it's not about a job. It's about how can you live a great life and a fulfilling and happy life. And Kenneth even had advice for some colleges. All you educators out there, y'all need to start an entrepreneur program and offer entrepreneur classes because some people have the skills to start their own businesses. So thank you so much to Kenneth and AC. It was a delight to have you, and I look forward to having you all back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ramona. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
A special thank you to the incredible team of the Empowerment Zone. Terry Ann Gully, theme song. NADWorks, digital support, and of course, our featured guest.
If you enjoyed my podcast, please subscribe. We are on all of your favorite podcast platforms. Be sure to rate us on Apple Podcasts too. Thank you for your continued support.